Herman, Bert, Tom and Charlie. The weak of will, the strong of arm. The clown, the boozer, the fighter. All are sleeping on the hill. One passed in a fever. One was burned in a mine. One was killed in a brawl. One died in a jail. One fell from a bridge toiling for children and wife. All are sleeping. Sleeping. Sleeping on the hill. Where are Ella, Kate, Mag, Lizzie and Edith? The tender heart, the simple soul, the loud, the proud, the happy one. All are sleeping on the hill. One died in shameful childbirth. One of a thwarted love. One at the hands of a brute in a brothel. One of a broken pride, in the search for heart's desire. One after life in faraway London and Paris was brought to her little space by Ella and Kate and Mag. All are sleeping. Sleeping. Sleeping on the hill. Where are Uncle Isaac and Aunt Emily? And old Townie Kincaid and Savine Houghton? And Major Walker who had talked with venerable men of the Revolution? All are sleeping on the hill. They brought them dead sons from the war. And daughters whom life had crushed. And their children fatherless, crying. All are sleeping. Sleeping. Sleeping on the hill. Where is old Fiddler Jones who played with life all his 90 years? Braving the sleet with bared breast. Drinking, rioting. Thinking neither of wife nor kin, nor gold, nor love, nor heaven. Lo! He babbles of the fish fries of long ago. Of the horse races of long ago at Clary's Grove. Of what Abe Lincoln said one time. At Springfield.
I was 16, and I had the most terrible dreams. And specks before my eyes, and nervous weakness. And I couldn't remember the books I read, like Frank Drummer who memorized page after page. And my back was weak, and I worried and worried. And I was embarrassed and stammered my lessons. And when I stood up to recite, I'd forget everything that I had studied. Well, I saw Dr. Weiss's advertisement, and there I read everything in print. Just as if he had known me, and about the dreams which I couldn't help. So I knew I was marked for an early grave. And I worried until I had a cough. And then the dreams stopped. And then I slept the sleep without dreams. Here on the hill by the river.
Mr. Kessler, you know, was in the army. And he drew $6 a month as a pension. And stood on the corner talking politics. Or sat at home reading Grant's memoirs. And I supported the family by washing. Learning the secrets of all the people. From their curtains, counterpanes, shirts and skirts. For things that are new grow old at length. They're replaced with better or none at all. People are prospering or falling back. And rents and patches widen with time. No thread or needle can paste decay. And there are stains that baffle soap. And there are colors that run in spite of you. Blamed though you are for spoiling a dress. Handkerchiefs, napery, have their secrets. The laundress, life, knows all about it. And I, who went to all the funerals held in Spoon River, swear I never saw a dead face without thinking it looked like something washed and ironed.
She loved me. Oh, how she loved me. I never had a chance to escape from the day she first saw me. But then, after we were married, I thought she might prove her mortality and let me out, or she might divorce me. But few die, none resign. Then I ran away, and was gone a year on a lark. But she never complained. She said all would be well, that I would return. And I did return. I told her that while taking a row in a boat, I had been captured near Van Buren Street by pirates on Lake Michigan, and kept in chains so I could not write her. She cried and kissed me, and said it was cruel, outrageous, inhuman. I then concluded our marriage was a divine dispensation and could not be dissolved, except by death. I was right.
I am Minerva, the village poetess. Hooted at, jeered at by the yahoos of the street for my heavy body, cockeye, and rolling walk. And all the more when Butch Weldy captured me after a brutal hunt. He left me to my fate with Dr. Myers. And I sank into death, growing numb from the feet up. Like one stepping deeper and deeper into a stream of ice. Will someone go to the village newspaper and gather into a book the verses I wrote? I thirsted so for love. I hungered so for life.
God, ask me not to record your wonders. I admit the stars and the suns and the countless worlds. But I have measured their distances and weighed them and discovered their substances. I have devised wings for the air and keels for water and horses of iron for the earth. I have lengthened the vision you gave me 1,000,000 times, and the hearing you gave me 1,000,000 times. I have leaped over space with speech and taken fire for light out of the air. I have built great cities and bored through the hills and bridged majestic waters. I have written the Iliad and Hamlet, and I have explored your mysteries and searched for you without ceasing, and found you again after losing you in hours of weariness. And I ask you, how would you like to create a sun, and the next day have the worms slipping in and out between your fingers?
I, born in Weimar, of a mother who was French, and German father, a most learned professor, orphaned at 14 years, became a dancer, known as Russian Sonia, all up and down the boulevards of Paris, mistress betimes of sundry dukes and counts, and later of poor artists and of poets. At 40 years passé, I sought New York, and met old Patrick Hummer on the boat, red-faced and hale, though turned his 60th year, returning after having sold a shipload of cattle in the German city, Hamburg. He brought me to Spoon River, and we lived here for 20 years. They thought that we were married. This oak tree near me is the favorite haunt of blue jays chattering all the day. And why not? For my very dust is laughing for thinking of the humorous thing called life.
Seeds in a dry pod, tick, tick, tick. tick, 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 like mites in a quarrel. Faint iambics that the full breeze wakens. But the pine tree makes a symphony thereof. Triolets, villanelles, rondelles, rondos. Ballades by the score with the same old thought. The snows and the roses of yesterday are vanished. And what is love but a rose that fades? Life all around me. Here in the village. Tragedy, comedy, valor, and truth. Courage, constancy, heroism, failure. All in the loom. And oh, what patterns! Woodlands, meadows, streams, and rivers. Blind to all of it all my life long. Triolets, villanelles, rondelles, rondos. Seeds in a dry pod, tick, tick, tick. Tick, 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 what little iambics! While Homer and Whitman roared in the pines?
Spring and summer, fall and winter and spring. After each other drifting, past my window drifting. And I lay so many years watching them drift and counting the years. Till a terror came in my heart at times with the feeling that I had become eternal. At last my 100th year was reached. And still I lay hearing the tick of the clock. And the low of cattle and the scream of a jay flying through falling leaves. Day after day alone in a room of the house of a daughter-in-law stricken with age and gray. And by night, or looking out of the window by day. My thought ran back, it seemed, through infinite time to North Carolina and all my girlhood days. And John, my John, away to the war with the British. And all the children, the deaths, and all the sorrows. And that stretch of years like a prairie in Illinois through which great figures passed. Like hurrying horsemen. Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, Webster, Clay. O beautiful young republic for whom my John and I gave all of our strength and love. And oh my John! Why, when I lay so helpless in bed for years, praying for you to come, was your coming delayed? Seeing that with a cry of rapture, like that I uttered when you found me in old Virginia after the war. I cried when I beheld you there by the bed. As the sun stood low in the west growing smaller and fainter. In the light of your face.
There is the caw of a crow, and the hesitant song of a thrush. There is the tinkle of a cowbell far away, and the voice of a plowman on Shipley's Hill. The forest beyond the orchard is still with midsummer stillness, and along the road a wagon chuckles, loaded with corn, going to Atterbury. And an old man sits under a tree asleep. And an old woman crosses the road, coming from the orchard with a bucket of blackberries. And a boy lies in the grass near the feet of the old man, and looks up at the sailing clouds, and longs, and longs, and longs for what, he knows not. For manhood, for life, for the unknown world. Then 30 years passed, and the boy returned worn out by life. And found the orchard vanished, and the forest gone. And the house made over. And the roadway filled with dust from automobiles. And himself desiring the hill.
At first you will know not what they mean. And you may never know, and we may never tell you. These sudden flashes in your soul, like lambent lightning on snowy clouds at midnight when the moon is full. They come in solitude, or perhaps you sit with your friend. And all at once a silence falls on speech, and his eyes, without a flicker, glow at you. You two have seen the secret, together. He sees it in you, and you in him. And there you sit, thrilling, lest the mystery stand before you, and strike you dead. With a splendor like the sun's. Be brave, all souls who have such visions, as your body's alive as mine is dead. You're catching a little whiff of the ether reserved for God himself.